Latchkey kids, did you miss me? I missed you. That's why I'm coming back to you with a Doll-A-Thon. I kind of unofficially started the Doll-A-Thon with the Black Devil Doll from Hell double feature along with Tales from the Quad-Dead Zone. So we're going to go ahead and continue on with Dolls because Dolls came out in 1987, a year before Child's Play, so I wanted to really start with Dolls anyhow. If you haven't seen my review for Black Devil Doll from Hell, I will put that link down below. Like I said, we're going to continue the Doll-A-Thon with the movie Dolls, which was directed by Stuart Gordon, who is famous for Castle Freak, Reanimator, and From Beyond. Just so you know, this is a spoiler review. I repeat, this is a spoiler review, and one more time for the people in the back, this is a spoiler review. You have been warned. I haven't rewatched this movie since I don't know when, and this is the type of movie that I rented just based off the strength of the cover art on the box of the original VHS cassette, which was like a doll with, it was a doll holding its own eyeballs, and what child doesn't want to see a movie like that? At least not the type of child I was. Also, the poster art had the tagline, "They walk, they talk, they kill." So at the very beginning of the movie, there is this family that is going on a vacation, and they have some road trouble, and off the rip, we get some pretty cool jump scares with a teddy bear, which kind of turns into a monster. And initially, it's just all in the little girl's head. It's just her imagination. The family takes shelter at the home of an elderly couple, and they're soon joined by a gentleman who picked up two hitchhikers that kind of look like they put on all their jewelry in an attempt to look like Madonna, but they still kind of have a punk rock edge to them too. I can relate because I went through a complete Madonna phase in 4th grade where I wore all of my jewelry. I never left the house with no less than 10 to 12 bracelets on each wrist. Then I went through a little bit of a Jodie Watley phase, and then there was that time my mother's friend cut my hair like pebbles. This haircut right here, that is hell to grow out, and also as an 8th grader I could not maintain that hairstyle for ish. The only likable characters in the movie are the guy that picked up the hitchhikers named Ralph and the little girl. That's suburban life. People just cut their grass whenever the hell they want to because they're homeowners. Anyways, where was I? I'm going to power through this. I usually edit out the moments that I look down at my phone for notes, but I can't concentrate with this lawnmower behind me, and you guys know me, I have ADHD as it is, so it's an issue. So I'm just going to be looking back and forth at my phone, and you will deal because I have so many doll movies to get through, and I'm determined to get through all of them. Well, not every single doll movie ever made, but all the ones that are on my list for this weekend. So where was I? I was talking about the characters and who's good and bad. The stepmother and father are established as being evil characters. Yeah, the stepmother is just a witch, and the dad kind of wants to get rid of his daughter and be with the stepmother and try to collect alimony, I think, from his ex-wife. The hitchhikers also are determined to be quote-unquote bad people because they initially wanted to steal Ralph's wallet, but then when they get to the elderly couple's house, they want to steal whatever they can find in the elderly couple's house. So when you have so many characters that are shown to be evil, you're just kind of waiting for the dolls to get in their ass. Oh, I just noticed in my notes I called those girls klepto-punk Madonnas. Also, they say Ralph was likable. He had a moment of not being likable when he didn't believe the little girl and he wanted to kick all the dolls, and that the dolls were not bothering him and they weren't going to bother him, but when he decided to kick them, that's when, they messed him up for a little bit, but then the little girl saved him. By the way, the little girl's name is Judy. I keep forgetting that, but it's in the notes. I liked the actor playing Judy. She was age appropriate. She looked the age that she was supposed to be, and I've said this before, if you're new to my channel, I'll just repeat it for the people that don't know. I don't like when they have older children play younger children. It's really irritating to see a 12-year-old act like they're 5 years old. Cast a 5-year-old. Or cast a 7-year-old who looks like a 5-year-old, if anything. The Hatred had a child actor like that. The Hatred had this little girl that she was on the edge of puberty, and they had her running around the house acting like I almost said toddler. Not quite a toddler, but way younger than what children her age actually act. But aside from Judy, the acting in this movie was pretty good. I can't say any of the actors were weak links. They all did pretty well. The story moves along pretty well. I didn't get bored, and you know me, I have a short attention span. When I think about it, even as a child when I watched this movie, it held my attention. The one criticism that I do have of the movie is that certain times in the movie the score was a little too whimsical for what was happening. For example, something could be happening and it's a little bit, or it should be something that's considered terrifying, but the score is giving comedy fantasy film instead, as if the score went more for a movie that would be similar to like Willow than an actual horror. The strength that the movie has is the special effects. The stop motion still looks pretty good. I really liked how the doll movements were doll-like. There's limited facial articulation, but that was alright. It didn't bother me too much. There was also a transformation scene where the father transformed into like this, what would you call it? A court jester type doll. That was done kind of well. I read that originally there were more gore effects in this movie, like to the extent that the dolls were pulling out people's intestines. But the director decided that that would be a little bit too much. There's something else I found about the movie. I'm just going to read it verbatim from IMDb. The dolls in the film have various different origins explaining their ability to come to life. Mr. Punch and the toy soldiers are controlled by the witchcraft magic of Gabriel and Hillary, which are the older couple. Some of the dolls used to be immoral humans and were transformed into dolls to pay for their crimes in life, which explains why some of them have an organic skeleton underneath the porcelain. And some of them are also fairies, which explains why their bodies burn and smoke after being whipped by Enid's metal belt, as fairies have an adverse reaction to metal and iron in folklore. I thought that was kind of cool that they put all those different elements within the different dolls. And it shows in some of the special effects, like one of the dolls, I'll probably superimpose a picture of one of the dolls that its face got crushed and then you could see the old shrunken body of the immoral person that was placed inside of the doll. That was really cool. I like the concept of that. The ending wraps things up pretty well in a neat little bow. I like the music that played over the ending of the movie. That really fit. And there's also I'm going to call it an end credit scene because it's a scene that plays behind the credits that leaves room open for a sequel. And I'm like seeing as we keep getting these Chucky movies, and I love Child's Play. It's one of my favorite movies is Child's Play. I see no reason why we shouldn't have a Dolls too. I'm waiting for that one. This movie's actually kind of underrated in my opinion. Almost forgotten. I don't hear a lot of people talk about it at all. For me, it holds up to repeated watchings. You let me know how you feel about it, but I have seen it multiple times and I still enjoy it each time. But like I said, people really sleep on Dolls, and a couple of things that I noticed that Dolls did before a few other movies was Dolls threw a lady through a window of a house and killed her before Child's Play. Dolls had stop motion puppets that shot bullets at a person before Puppet Master, and they had a person, a full grown person, turn into a doll before Dead Silence. Like 30 years before Dead Silence. So there's things that other movies have borrowed from Dolls, and I don't think people know about that. So I just wanted to add that. I won't make this review any longer than it has to be because I got to get through a bunch of doll movies. But like I always say, just because I love something doesn't mean you won't hate it, and just because I hate something doesn't mean you won't love it. What do you think of Dolls? Have you seen Dolls? And how did you see Dolls? Were you lucky enough to see it when it, well, not when it first came out, because I didn't see it when it first came out either. I saw it on VHS. But I don't know whether it was direct-to-video or whether it was ever released in a movie theater to begin with. So I might have seen it when it first came out. All I know is I saw it on VHS back in the 80s when I actually was a child. So let me know if you saw Dolls, when and how you saw it, and what do you think about it. I'll be back in a little while with a couple more doll movies. Bye.